consider attending this. There's going to be presentations there about low-interest loan programs that have taken place in Cuyahoga County, and we feel that this is a very important workshop. So we certainly hope that a lot of people will attend this on May 31st at Oberlin College. In addition to that, Marilyn is offering direct tech support to groups or individuals who request it, and she prepared something as simple as frequently asked questions, so that a staff, like my staff at the Historical Society, when people call and say, what can I do about this situation with my older house, they have more ability to direct that person properly. We're also working on a program for upgrading the literature that's available in local libraries. We would like the best collection of information available to the public in their library, so we're working on that. That is pretty much a good thumbnail sketch of what the network's been doing so far. Do we have any specific questions to that?
Sounds like you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Okay, the third component of what we did was a local grants program, which also then included a grant to ourselves. But what we were attempting to do was to assist historical societies in the county with projects. We ended up assisting 7 local historical societies plus the Lorain County Historical Society. Some of the projects that I'm most excited about include in Oberlin, the Monroe House that's owned by the group called Ohio Historic and Improvement Organization. They were able to build a set of storm windows for this house. Now, you need to understand that these are really unique windows. They're rounded at the top with an arch, so it's not just a basic rectangle window. And of course, the desire to be historically accurate, to build these out of wood, but to include some glass that would be UV, blocked, for the good of the insides of the building. And they had 26 windows in the house, and we were able to supply most of the cost of that project for them through our grants program. At Black River Historical Society in Lorain, we provided computer equipment that allowed them to buy a network server and a printer that could link together the different computers that they already had, and some software that upgraded that. At the Amherst Historical Society, they have a really neat project. We were certainly not able to fund the entire project, but they have a building that in itself is very interesting. It was actually used as a POW barracks in World War II, and they have this building now at the Sandstone Village Center, and they're attempting to turn this into an old-time machine shop where they would demonstrate steam and belt-driven machinery. And we've funded 2 phases of their project. Basically, the phase that allowed them to do some stabilizing work on the building, and a phase that allowed them to upgrade their electrical service to the building. The Columbia Historical Society has the Bronson House. The Bronson family was the first permanent family in Lorain County starting in 1807, and we were able to provide a series of 8 heaters for that building, which previously had no heat, and exhaust fans for the summer. So they gained some heating and cooling capability for the Bronson House. At the Lorain County Historical Society, we have an old voting booth. In the days that the machines were not in the schools and churches or wherever they are now, there were voting booths on vacant lots that contained the machines. I still remember my parents voting in that when I was very, very young. Not too many of these have survived, and ours survived but was deteriorating. And we did a rebuild of this, re-roof, and we used grant money, again, from the commissioners to do that project. So we've really attempted to spend the money in a variety of ways, and that's what we promised to do initially, and I think we've done that. Ron Twining has worked carefully with us, and certainly has helped me extensively. I don't know if Ron has anything to add to my report, or if you have any questions about the local grants program. Okay, well, I had submitted a proposal for continued funding. I hope that you received it in February. I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage here. One phone message I received said there had been some type of resolution in March. I was not aware of that. Was there any resolution in March?
I believe there was a resolution to fund, what was it, $25,000?
Yes.
It was appropriation. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the request was for 60.
Yes. Okay, I was not aware of that. So there was a resolution to fund part of what we asked for.
Yeah, just part,
Great.
unfortunately.
But I have a question. The resolution was passed to appropriate it, but I think that we need to take a next step, do we not?
We simply need an invoice. If you'll invoice us to Mr. Rokas, he'll take care of the mechanics in-house. And I apologize that you weren't notified. I thought you had been.
Okay. What portion of what I asked for was funded, or was it just
It was a blanket appropriation for
a blanket
$25,000.
appropriation?
Should he send the invoice for 60,000 so we can revisit it, or are we done revisiting it?
I'm assuming you're questioning your colleagues, not myself.
I think with local government funding the way it is, and our concerns in regards to our general fund budget, that actually you should feel fortunate to get $25,000.
Well, absolutely. I'm not questioning that.
No, I was.
Just, and I appreciate that
On
as
your
well.
behalf, Bill, on your behalf.
We're very appreciative of any dollars we can get. I guess my choice would be, and I've only had 10 seconds to think about this, I think our preservation network is extremely valuable, and I think we need to fund that. I think the local grants program is extremely valuable, but to me that would be the part of the appropriation that you did not fund, if it's left up to my choice. So
I think what I heard is it's up to you on how to.
But I think that was a very wise choice that you made.
okay.
Well, it was only 10 seconds, but
If there's any interest in funding the local grants program, why I would certainly welcome revisiting that. And I guess at this point, thank you very much for the appropriation. And I would like to pass out our flyers.
Okay.
Thank you.
I
And
want to see you at the Ohio 200 exhibit, not just all of you, but folks in the audience. I think it's a great exhibit.
And while you're doing that, I would just like to commend you and all those that you have worked with to preserve history in Lorain County and to bring it forward. And I just think it's a wonderful partnership, and I'm pleased to be a part of it.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And I appreciate you coming in, because a lot of times we don't get to hear how the grant monies that we vote and pass are actually spent. And I appreciate the way that you guys have actually spread this thing out throughout the whole county. And I think you did an excellent job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
I guess we go back to old business. Is there any old business other than a note?
I don't have any.
Maybe not just old business, but kind of to piggyback on what Bill has told us this morning. I think we all received a thank you note from the Visitors Bureau for the brochure that we funded, which talks about Lorain County Bicentennial. And in fact, many of the things that Bill reported on this morning, thank you, Ron, are contained in this brochure. So I'm sure that these are available around and about.
Just one, Commissioner Vacy requests the special prosecutor to be appointed to review the shorting of Lorain County prosecutor's documents.
Yes, I'd like some discussion. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are.
Well, Madam Chair, I don't know if you had a chance to read the letter that was just delivered to us from the assistant prosecutor, or excuse me, from the prosecutor. May I read it?
Well, I did read it, and the bottom line is that the prosecutor feels that he's satisfied that the documents have been fully reviewed to his satisfaction, that records and documents that were shredded were done in ordinary course of business and in accordance with the law and record retention rules and regulations. I have a problem
We got
with
this
this.
while we were sitting here, up here, so if the media would like to get a copy of this letter that was hand-delivered to us, I can see you might want a copy of it. I think it'd be more appropriate to read the whole letter, but that's just me.
I mean, that was the bottom line. That's the gist of it, and it's going to be time-consuming because I would also like the clerk to read the statement that I gave last week.
With all due respect, Madam Chair, if we're not going to read the prosecutor's letter, I don't want to hear your statement again.
Okay, then, if you don't want to hear the statement again, what is your problem?
I don't have a problem.
Well, it sounded kind of...
Well, no, I think the
gruff.
prosecutor took the time to deliver to us a letter, and I think it's important that we know what he has
But
to say on the issue.
Okay, Madam
You are the chair. You
Commissioner,
handle however you want.
excuse me, I have a problem with that because the issue reflects negativity on the prosecutor's office, and it is against the disciplinary rules and the ethics. And Mr. Innes excused himself last week just for that same purpose, that he could not participate in that discussion. And it's possible, to me, there's a possibility of other prosecutors in the office to advise or represent this board on this issue. That is definitely a conflict. I have a problem with that opinion, and I think that this board needs its own legal counsel in regards to this issue. Unbiased legal counsel that we can refer to. Now, I'm not putting Mr. Innes or Mr. Manning or anyone else in that office in a situation where they have a possible ethics problem. And then there is a Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court has ruled whether civil or criminal, the individual or county could be liable, even if a single document that could have a bearing on a case, the county could have a liability if it is important to the case. Now, I think the air should be cleared once and for all.
I just did a quick investigation, a couple of phone calls. I heard there was over 26 bags of shredded documents, and less than 10 was from the prosecutor's office. So if there's an issue, it's more than just the prosecutor's office, and I don't want to be the one taking the charge on this. So I thought the issue was done a month ago. It come up again. We have another letter today. I think the issue's pretty much off the table. But if you want to pursue it, I don't understand. What do you want to pursue? A new other legal counsel other than the prosecutor's office?
Yes, and we do
I don't
need...
think we're allowed to do that.
I know
think
that
by
we're not, but
statute-
we can address the court. We can write a letter to the court. The judges, come and please,
I don't want to participate in writing a letter. If you want to, I don't see why you cannot on your
because
own.
it has to be by the board. This is a body.
Okay, then I'm not going to support that. So,
Madam Chair, I thought it's my understanding that the prosecutor handles issues such as this in Lorain County, and that when there is a perceived ill or whatever you want to call it, it's referred to the prosecutor's office. That's why I was pleased to receive the prosecutor's letter this morning, and I wanted to review what it said because I think it substantiated my opinion that this is an issue for the prosecutor to handle, and if the prosecutor is in fact satisfied with what transpired, I don't believe it is our job, and this is my personal opinion, I don't believe it is our job to insert our will for the prosecutor's will on this particular issue.
But we have a job to protect the public's interest and the funding. And that's our job. If we have a liability here, I want the air cleared.
Well, I think the air has already been cleared by view of what has transpired in the prosecutor's office.
Until, Commissioner Blair, I want you to understand this too. If there was a record that was destroyed, whether accidentally or whatever, it is at the time of discovery that a person can come back to the county and has 4 years after the time of discovery. So whether it's now or 10 years from now, if there has been any evidence that has been destroyed or missing or whatever, accidentally or whatever, that is when the individual can come back and sue the county, and it could be millions. Now, I feel as an elected official, the steward of taxpayers' dollars, I want this issue settled once and for all, and if it can't be, then I wash my hands of the issue, and I want that on the record.
Commissioner, may I make a comment?
If you feel...
We're having a little trouble understanding what the issue is. In your statement last week, you said there ought to be a review body. There is a review body. It's the Records Commission. That's under the supervision of the county commissioners. We submitted a request to dispose of those documents the same as every other office in this county does, the recorder's office, the treasurer's office, the auditor's office, the clerk of court's office, the commissioner's office, Your Honor. As Mr. Moore has indicated, there were many other documents destroyed beside ours. It's curious that you choose to isolate the prosecutor's office.
I don't think I did, Jerry, excuse me, but if you would read the statement, that does not just isolate the prosecutor's office, but the light is shed on the prosecutor's office at this time. And it also stated in the paper that it went to the review committee in July or whenever it was, and these records were not shredded until last month. And I don't know if you should be discussing this issue with us.
Well,
I don't know if you should
Commissioner,
feel
I'm not going to sit here and allow you to make McCarthy-type allegations toward our office and not respond to that. I'm going to respond on behalf of the staff of our office who you are criticizing. Mrs. Vasey, I saw you throw a piece of paper away last week. Should we investigate whether that was a public record?
Well, that's
How
the
many
whole thing.
commissions do you want to appoint to go after this? We did everything appropriate according to law. The Chronicle Telegram was over there. We immediately produced for them our authorization to do that. We immediately showed to them everything we did, Commissioner. We have to shred documents because our FOJ records contain references to undercover agents, confidential informants, victims and witnesses who, according to law, are allowed to be protected and have to be protected, Mrs. Vasey. We can't put those documents in a bag and set them on the street. I'm sure the sheriff would be pleased if all our witnesses could just be accessed to that kind of information. It's a safety, it's a life-threatening issue, Commissioner Vasey. We protect those people, and we resent you making allegations that are just simply unfounded with any fact. When there's a criminal investigation, Mrs. Vasey, and somebody comes up with a fact, we'll investigate it. If you have information or a fact that you can support with documentation, then why don't you present it right now instead of just making allegations?
Well, here, Mr. Ennis, you said this, and it's in the paper, okay? No special request involving shredding of the white materials was made to the committee comprised of county officials that oversees the disposal of public records. And now you just change your tune. Every article that I have read is a different story. And to correct you, my statement did not just say the prosecutors. It did not just stop there. I also asked that we all elected officials, all departments, be informed of how to keep records and how to destroy them.
And we are, through your records, Commissioner. Again, I say, do you have any fact to base anything? Mr. White is a veteran. He has been a participant in all kinds of community activities in 22 years of being a prosecutor. Those are his personal documents, ma'am. The Constitution of the United States protects his documents, and he's able to do with his personal papers what he may wish, the same as you are, the same as any other citizen.
Then why were those personal papers in a public office?
He kept them on the shelf. You don't have personal papers in your office, Mrs. Vasey?
No, I have photographs.
I know you have personal papers in your office.
How do you know that unless
You've shown them to me, Mrs. Vasey.
Personal papers?
Yes.
I don't recall ever showing you. It's a question of what has been in the paper, and every statement,
everything that's in the
is
paper you
reported.
want to invest. So every time the paper says something
I know
about
that
you,
the
you want it
papers-
investigated, Mrs. Vasey? Is that what you're saying?
Jerry, I don't expect you to be for this. I really don't. And I'm not directing it to anyone personal.
Well, I submit,
just
Mrs.
want to
Vasey,
protect the county.
Our office is not going to be subjected to what I just referred to, McCarthy-type allegations, just coming in here and making allegations that you don't have anything to support it
I
with.
don't think I've made the allegations. The newspapers have started this.
And we satisfied them. The newspaper's request was handled that evening within 10 minutes.
I'm not going to argue the issue because I can see where it's going. But I just like the record to indicate that I have washed my hands of the issue if anything in the future comes up with this.
New business? Anything
I have
for
none.
commissioners? Ms.
I
Vacy?
have nothing else.
The
Thank
Board of
you.
Commissioners will meet on Thursday, May 1st, 2003 at 7 p.m. Sheffield Township Hall, 5166 Clinton Avenue, Lorain. Therefore, there will be no meeting that morning. Board correspondence?
I move the reading be waived.
Second?
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
And public comment.
Is there anyone in the audience that would has any questions or comments?
Elizabeth Rumics, R-U-M-I-C-S, Oberlin. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the commissioners who have apparently taken a speed reading course because I see that a number of relatively recent minutes have been approved. So thank you for that. At one time, there was considerable lag in the reading and acceptance of minutes. Secondly, I would also like to say it is very nice to see a new edition of this directory for the county. I use it considerably. I take copies to the public library and the Oberlin College Library reference desks, and it is an extremely handy, detailed listing of the offices, the phone numbers, and the individuals for boards and commissioners. It's also a very handsome new format, and so I just simply wanted to thank the commissioners for that.
Mike Sherman on behalf of the Lorain County AFI CIO, an announcement, Workers' Memorial Day, Monday, April 28th. Services will be held at 12 noon at the Elyria Monument, which is located on the north side of the county courthouse, and at 5 p.m. in Lorain at the monument, which is located in front of Lorain City Hall. On April 28th, the unions of the AFI CIO observe Workers' Memorial Day to remember those who have suffered and died on the job. As we remember workers who have died in the workplace catastrophes, suffered diseases due to exposure to toxic substances, or who have been injured because of dangerous conditions, we rededicate ourselves to fight for a safe workplace. Each year, nearly 6,000 workers are killed at work, 50,000 die from occupational diseases, and millions more are injured. Many long-recognized hazards have not been addressed, and new workplace hazards emerge. Ergonomic hazards cripple and injure more than 1.8 million workers each year and remain the nation's biggest safety and health problem. Immigrant workers are being killed on the job in record numbers. Millions of workers have no Occupational Safety and Health Administration OSHA protection. On April the 28th, we will honor the fallen workers, and we will keep on fighting until we have the promise of safe jobs for everybody. I want to thank the commissioners for their previous support on this day. I laid materials on each of your desks this morning, sample proclamations that you've done in the past. I would hope you'd see fit to do that again. I want to thank Mr. Cordez's office for his assistance in the maintaining of the monument and his staff. Thank Sheriff Stamiti. His honor guard is going to participate this year, and we're going to highlight and have the military participate as well, because what a better example of individuals who are killed and injured on the work site than the current job that our military is doing at home and abroad. Details will be finalized at this evening's AFI CIO meeting, and we'll forward press releases to the media people and all the additional county staff. So, again, thank you for your participation in the past, and be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike, for the heads up.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to comment?
I just have a comment on last week, Commissioner Vacy asked for consideration of the formation of a public defender's office here in Lorain County. And I want to just comment that I know I've read in the newspapers that the judges are satisfied with the way that this justice system is operating, and the prosecutor's office is happy with the court-appointed attorneys. They should sit in the hallways. They should go to juvenile detention home and sit in the visitation room and listen to the parents talk about the court-appointed attorneys that they have. Court-appointed attorneys that have been given them, who have never contacted them even 2 weeks after they've been appointed. Court-appointed attorneys who they are getting pro bono type monies for their work. And we sorely need this. This county is growing. Cuyahoga County has a public defender's office that works very well. Why Lorain County is against a public defender's office is beyond me. I've lived in Cuyahoga County my whole life. The last 6 years in Lorain County, I've been very active with the court system. Been a guardian ad litem here for 6 years, and been very active in Cuyahoga County with juvenile probation, the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center. So I have seen people been given court-appointed attorneys here in Lorain County versus public defenders. And I would hope that they seriously consider this issue, because the juveniles and the many parents who really do not understand when a court-appointed attorney is given them exactly what should happen, I think that should be explained to them. It is not happening here in Lorain County. So I really hope that you do consider this very seriously, because justice here is extremely important to me, and I think to most people that live in this county. Thank you.
Would you state your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Judy Quigley. I live in Eaton Township.
Thank you, Mrs. Quigley.
Is there anyone else? I thank you very much for your attendance this morning. And I would move to go into executive session.
Yep, just for, yes, I'll second.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Unsightly litter is often the result of well-intentioned people like you and me being careless at the curb, around business areas, and at work sites. Lucky the Ladybug, Ohio's first lady of litter prevention, says nobody wants to live or work around trash. Litter lowers property values and it's costly to clean up.
Keep Lorain County beautiful. Put the lid on trash.
Welcome you to this topping out ceremony, which signifies that the highest point of construction has been reached and completed. This event includes an historically based ritual during which an evergreen tree and the American, state, and county flags are raised to the highest point of this structure. This effort is a gesture of wishing prosperity to the building and safety to those who use it, as well as to recognize the diligence of the construction workers for their care and concern while building it, especially during this severely cold past winter season. The sunshine and warmth today is indicative of the spring season, which we will officially welcome tomorrow. Topping out ceremonies are an important custom in the steel construction industry. However, there are various stories about its origin. One is that the Germans in the Black Forest seem to have invented the Christmas tree custom to celebrate the Nativity of Jesus Christ, and hardly a structure goes up in Germany without an evergreen to signal the birth of a new building. The Swiss also laid claim to the custom of a fir tree to signal the topping out. The American flag was added in about 1919 to demonstrate the iron workers' loyalty to flag and country. Others believe the flag was first used when steel framing became popular. It was in dedication to good old U.S.-made, take my page away, take the first page, page 2, good old U.S.-made steel beams. The signing of the last beam or girder by laborers has similar traditional roots. So we are gathered here today to add our own personal touch to this topping out ritual and to give thanks to the dedicated employees who have worked so hard and through such a winter to continue to keep this project on schedule. I have an email from my former administrative assistant, Gloria Krutler, from North Fort Myers. She regularly checks the Justice Center's progress on the webcam. Her March 15th memo says, quote, "The Justice Center building is looking good. It must have been rough on the construction crews with all the bad weather you had had." So, your progress and devotion is known in Florida as well. Last fall, we predicted that the topping out ceremony would occur on my birthday, which is this Saturday. So thanks again for all your hard work and for being on time. The citizens of Lorain County appreciate all the fine work that has gone into this project to date. We look forward to its dedication, and we invite you all to move down to the beam now and to sign your names.
what this is generally on these type of jobs, we like to put a panel together that simulates all the aspects of the building. The building's going to be comprised of 2 different colors of brick with various different reveals in that brick. Also, you're going to have sandstone cast into the brick in certain panels. Outside of that, this is going to be the curtain wall system. I don't know how many of y'all have seen the rendering of the building. We have a large curtain wall that goes up the front of the building. It's going to be comprised of this type of material in this color, and then we throw in the different types of glass that'll also be in that panel. On the other side, you'll see there's a louver in place. That's just going to be the typical type of louver that'll be in an exhaust area of the building. We just try to depict all the aspects of the building in this small little mock-up panel, just so everyone can have an idea of what it looks like. What we'll do is we'll just take a tour of the prisoner and we'll go into the secure areas that we've recently completed. Of course, this is the secure sally port where the sheriff can bring criminals down and unload them. The doors go down, everything's secure. From this point, as we go through, everything is secure.
We're going to use combo locks on all the doors. So only they'll be able to get down here. But this is not, none of this is going to be open to the public.
Right. What's in here, right?
This is one of the hearts of the building. This is the main chiller room. Suburban piping, process piping's been hard at work down here, as you can see, getting the main part of the building. As far as all the final control. You've got 2 different chillers, pumps, auxiliary pumps, everything to keep the building cool and warm as necessary. As the piping or the pumps vibrate, there's enough of a jolt in there that eventually it'll wear out. These are Victaulic fittings. They have a rubber O-ring in here. It'll wear those out unless you have some flexible connector to let things move separately. This room houses the air handler that controls all the airflow in this level of the building. Also, this room contains the fire suppression system booster pumps, domestic water booster pumps. All the main water flow in the building comes from this room. And as you can see, that's all the pipes that go over to those chillers, conveys through here, continues out down that corridor, and eventually it'll go up 7 floors to the top. Those hanger beams, they'll get fireproofed afterwards. No asbestos. Generally, they come in and they fireproof all the structure, and once these men come in and start hanging pipes, they have to kind of improvise and put their own steel up. As that's not a structural member of the building so much, it's not as important that it's all done at the same time. On the other side of this wall, we've got just typical, I believe it's the sheriffs and the personnel, their locker rooms and things are down there. And around the corner, that's just a general purpose corridor. If somebody comes here, they're going to go through those secure areas, into the secure elevators, right up to the court floor that they're going to be on. There will be another secure holding facility there. Unlike the way things are right now, prisoners aren't going to be out in the open. When this facility is in operation, once they come in, they're well isolated from everyone else. We're scheduled right now, and we're right on track, I believe, to be turning the building over late spring of 2004. And we hope that the building will be in operation in the summer of 2004. It's going to take quite a bit of time for the county to move in, get all their equipment in place, their furniture in place. So we're looking at, in the summer of 2004.
Every year in Lorain County, hundreds of children are abused and neglected. Many are removed from their homes for their protection. Judges must decide their futures, but they need information to make these critical decisions. You can provide this information through Voices for Children. Volunteers are men and women from all walks of life with no special or legal background who work alongside attorneys, social workers, and other court employees. As an officer of the court, you find out as much as you can about the child. You will review records, interview parents and relatives, foster parents, talk to teachers, neighbors, and most importantly, the child. When the volunteer has a complete profile, he or she appears in court to recommend what is best for the child's future. You've heard the statistics on child abuse. Now is your chance to do something about it. You don't need any special qualifications, only the desire to protect local children who desperately need your help. To become a special advocate or for more information on our next training session, call Voices for Children today.
Grass clippings, food scrap, garden remains, leaves, all have one thing in common. They can all be composted. All these things will go back to nature, using only air and water. Nature will recycle these and numerous other items back into rich soil to benefit your garden or shrubs. Turn it on the ground or tumble it in special drums. Composting saves landfill space and can save you money. Composting can turn into a fun project for the entire family.
I am very excited about this new space that we have here, courtesy of the Board of Commissioners for Lorain County. We are now located in our new office. Today has been our open house ribbon cutting.
Welcome everybody. The sun is shining on Lorain County today. 5 years ago, our priorities on economic development were in the basement. But this year, I'll let you do lower level. But this year, we have invested 10 times of that of 1997. This building represents the Lorain County Commissioners commitment to improving the quality of life for all its citizens. And now our economic priorities are the envy of Northeast Ohio. Commissioner Vassy, thank you.
I just want to thank you for the honor of your presence here today. And, you know, when I just took office, we had a two-man department in economic development. Today we're up to 12 and a standalone building. And I think it's just wonderful. And I want you to know, too, the carpeting that you're going to walk on in there was provided by solid waste. It's, what, 40% recycled material? And when you walk on that, you'll know that someone recycled in Lorain County. And hopefully we'll get more people to do that. But thank you again for being here, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for coming this morning. About 10 years ago, as Commissioner Vassy said, although it was never a two-person economic development department, when I got here, it was a one-person show, and we had a planning commission. And the idea was conceived that we ought to join those two departments together and form the Lorain County Community Development Department, which we did. And then we got Ron Twining, our Community Development Director, who's done a wonderful job, together with Jim Cordes, our County Administrator, and this wonderful staff that you see here. And we're doing great things for Lorain County. Thank you so much for coming this morning.
I'd like to thank everybody for showing up today. Especially we have some elected officials here from Amherst, our Auditor, Diane Eswine, thank you for attending. Our State Senator, Jeffrey Armbruster, thank you for attending. Elyria City Councilman, Paul Blevins, thank you for attending. And our Lorain County Sheriff, Sheriff Semay, thank you again for attending. And most of all, though, thank you all for attending here. Also, I'd like to thank the people that worked on this project. What's interesting here is this building, you know, we purchased it within a year. We had the architect was Joseph Ferret and Chase Keichel from Joseph Ferret and Associates, the architects. Steve Fox of S&M Fox Construction, restroom renovation, and ADA door opener. The Puffrey Roofing. Tom Murray and Amy Monak of Volvo's Office Plus and Office Space Design. Pat McCarthy, DuPont Flooring Systems Carpet Installation. The Refrigeration Specialist Inc. for the HVAC. And the Locks Garden Center for the plants. And the beauty of this is all this work, except for the recycled carpeting, but the labor was here, was all done with Lorain County people with Lorain County money. So that's fantastic. That's what this board's all about. And also who participated in putting this thing together, I'd like to thank Jim Cordes, the county administrator. I'd also like to thank Yvonne Newton, Pam Stevens, and Karen Davis. Also in our maintenance crew. These guys don't get recognized enough. Ralph Smagala and Dave Karpinski. And their whole crew of Herb, Rick, Gordon, Joe, Zenon, Don, Chad, James, Mike, Brian, Michael, and Thomas. They did a lot of work here to get the job done right. Also, these are other county people that helped us with Dan Billman and Marilyn Poliski, Ernie Smith, Karen Pleba, Nancy Bryant, Tim Costco, Joey Opdyke, Boyd Weber, B. Howard Reynolds, and Jennifer Dimmick. They did a lot of work to make this thing happen today. Oh, and Marcia Dunfunk from Bromhill Township Clerk is here, too. So thank you. I think it's time to cut the ribbon. Do we have our scissors?
Ready?
Are we all ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. There we go. We have lots of refreshments, videos, and people will be talking to you. Please come in and walk around and see what we have here.
This location is at 216 3rd Street. We moved from the county administration building, which is virtually across the street, so we're still close to them and the records that we need access to, and close for citizens to park in the county parking garage and walk across the street to get any help and assistance here. We house, in addition to the LAMP program, the Port Authority is located here, operating out of our office. We also have the revolving loan fund, tax abatement issues. All of these matters come to this building, and we welcome visitors at any point to come in. Our office hours Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning, and we typically close at 4:30. A lot of citizen meetings are held. We have 2 outstanding conference rooms, one large one that will accommodate about 45 people, and then a smaller one that is a little friendlier, down to about 6 or 8 people that could be accommodated in there. We're real excited about the opportunity the Board of Commissioners have provided us through the gracious funding of the residents of Lorain County, and we look for great things to come in this new space.